Hey, hey! This is Ayuma Michelle, and welcome to part 5 of the Let's Stay Home Clarity Coaching Campaign with me, Ayuma Michelle. So, this time round, today we are going to cover how to create a vision for your life. But before we go deep into that, I first of all want to just say thank you. Thank you so much for all of the subscribers. It's just the other day I was celebrating 50 subscribers, and right now we've risen to above a little over 80. So thank you so much for subscribing to this channel. YouTube tells me that many of you who watch this channel haven't yet subscribed. So please just take a few minutes just right now. I'll wait. Please just subscribe, press that button, and let us continue journeying together and ensure that we walk together on this journey of thriving with purpose. This channel, Let's with Ayuma, is all about enlightening and empowering women, progressive women from across the world, to thrive with purpose. So if this speaks to you and you found value from this channel so far, please go ahead and hit subscribe. And also, please comment below what has really stood out to you so far about this channel or about this particular campaign. Like, what has really stood out to you? What are you learning? Just share that with me. I'd really love to learn from you. Okay? And then also, I just want to celebrate the fact that so many of you have written to me, either on comments or even in person, and shared with me how this campaign has literally been transforming your life. Thank you so much for choosing you and for ensuring that you choose and you repurpose this season of interruption as a season of alignment and actually working on you. Trust me, you will never lose out when you choose to invest in yourself. You will never lose out. You only have so much to gain. So thank you so much for all of the feedback you've been sharing with me. And don't forget, you can still comment below and tell me, how exactly this particular series and this campaign has really touched your life, or anything that has spoken life to you, right? So let's get straight into the meat of it all, right? Story time! So there's a fun parable that I learned, especially when I was doing my leadership training in social innovation management. This is a parable, that is known by many people actually in the leadership spaces. In fact, the late American President J.F. Kennedy, he actually talked about it, and he referred to it in matters of leadership and what is required in terms of powerful leadership. So the parable talks about, there was a traveler. There was a traveler who once walked to, obviously travelers walking around the place, but this traveler, he came across 3 people who were working. And these 3 people were bricklayers or masons, people who lay bricks. And then this curious traveler asked the 3 people who are laying these bricks, "What are you doing?" Though these 3 people were doing the exact same thing, he got 3 different responses from the people who are doing the exact same thing, from the bricklayers. So the first person responded, "I am laying bricks." The second person said, "I am putting up a wall." The third person said, "I am building a cathedral." So can you imagine? These are 3 bricklayers doing the exact same thing at the same time. But when asked the same question, "What are you doing?" they responded in 3 ways. So obviously, with every parable, there's always a reason behind it. So I'll give you 2 reasons though. One, which is the traditional reason behind, the responses of the bricklayers. But for the sake of this particular campaign, I'll give you 3 ways, because I really care about self-compassion. So I will share with you why. So the first reason, how people historically have broken down this parable, just like J.F. Kennedy, they said that the first person who was just laying bricks, this person had a job. They were responding to a job. They were talking about a job. The second person who responded by saying that they are putting up a wall, this particular person was talking about a career. We're describing a career. But the third person who was building, responded by saying that they were building a cathedral. This third person was actually talking about a calling. So they were laying bricks, but all of them had different translations to what they were doing. One had a job, one had a career, and the other had a calling. But for the purpose of today's topic, since we are discussing vision, right? I would take a different translation, which is the first person responded with a goal. Right now, laying this brick is my goal, right? It's a unit deliverable. The second person who talked about putting up a wall, this person was talking about a mission. I'm on a mission to put up a wall. The third person who talked about building a cathedral, this person was talking about a vision, the big picture. Laying this brick, as I lay this brick, the big picture on my mind is building a cathedral. This person is talking about a long-term vision. This person is talking about the big picture. This person is talking about a future state of mind, a desired state of mind, a desired state of the future, right? This person is talking about a destination that they would like to go to. And I know many people confuse vision and purpose, but guess what? This is the one thing that sets them apart. Remember, purpose gets exhausted when you literally leave this earth. Each one of us, just as we had a birth date, we also have an expiry date, which is the day we're going to die. But then the vision, your vision can be realized whilst you're still alive. There are people who are living their visions right now. If you had a vision to build a home, there are people who are literally living their visions because they are living in their homes. There are people right now who are living healed lives because their vision was to maybe have a healed, maybe to live a healed life, right? Or restoration or healing. There's some people who have amazing health. Maybe they were able to turn over their health because maybe their vision was to be healthy, you know? Other people, it was maybe to have quality relationships in life. Maybe they now are living quality relationships. So, and the other deciding factor, level 2, between purpose and vision, purpose already exists. Even before you were born, your purpose existed, right? And so purpose is something that you realize with life. Purpose is something that is revealed to you. It already exists. You're not the one who creates it. It was already created by you, for you, by your creator. Meaning you found it in existence. And so what you do is that throughout life, layer by layer, as you build capacity and as you discover your passions and as you put yourself in service and creativity out there and as you stay true to your values, right? Realize what I just did? I literally took you through what we covered, right? You will then, time by time, little by little, and with self-compassion, you will get to discover your purpose. But guess what? A vision is your responsibility. It's not your creator's responsibility. In fact, your vision is an intentional collaboration with your creator, saying that this is how I'm putting in the work. Vision is you standing and saying, I realize that I have a purpose. I realize that I have passions. I now realize that there are certain core values that really drive me to serve and to show up in this life with authenticity. But what about my life? What am I willing to do? What do I envision for myself? What kind of a life? If you're to look, I like using the word a delicious life. What does a delicious life look like for me? This is you choosing to do something. This is you choosing to build something. A purpose is revealed to you. A vision is built by you, right? That is the difference. And then a vision is not just this one thing. It is a compilation of various aspects of your life. And I came up with 12 areas of your life, which I'll share with you later, which you could look into and actually be able to create a vision for each area of this life, which then will create a totality of what your actual life vision is. Remember, we are discussing how to create a vision for your life, not your job, not your career, not for the people in your lives, for your life, right? We are talking about legacy, We're not talking about a job. We're not talking about KPIs. We're not talking about career. No, we're talking about your legacy. And so your legacy does not happen overnight. Your legacy is not just about money. Your legacy is not just about a job. Many things have been disrupted right now. Don't build your life around a job. Build your life around your legacy. Okay? So, I hope you enjoyed that parable. I found it to be really, really fascinating. So, remember that these 3 brick layers, they were doing the exact same thing. But unlike the traditional one, which basically says that the guy who was laying the brick versus the person who was a cathedral, there was already a level of hierarchy of who's more forward thinking than the other. But in this area, what I would like us to focus on, the reason why I talked about self-compassion, is that when you're building your vision, there will be moments, especially like this one during this pandemic, when your vision will be challenged. And how you show yourself self-compassion is by not overwhelming yourself with a big picture. Sometimes all it takes to pursue and to take a confident next step towards that big picture is laying a brick. So that's why it's important to realize when to focus on the goal, when to focus on the mission, and when to focus on the big vision. There are people like myself who are visionaries. Like, even though when we're facing a very trying time, focusing on the nitty-gritty sometimes can really overwhelm me. But focusing on the big picture, that gives me, oh my goodness, I can do this. This is what all this is for. But then there are some people who are very, it depends on how your brain processes stuff. There are people who are very systematic. And so for a systematic person, thinking about the big picture can be very overwhelming. So this systematic person, if you're that kind of a person, what then gives you confidence to take a confident next step into your future and into pursuing your vision is by actually focusing on laying that brick. You'll be like, what is my brick today? My brick today is doing XYZ. Just that. That will allow you to build your cathedral in the now, right? So just realize that self-compassion, don't overwhelm yourself with a system that maybe doesn't work for you. We are all in our own individual journeys towards our visions. So please be compassionate with yourself, especially during such a time when so many things in our lives have been disrupted. And yes, you have that big vision, or you're in the process of creating this big vision. So don't overwhelm yourself. Focus on what you can do now, but with the long run in the future. So realize that we may be laying bricks every day. But remember, with a vision, we can actually go through our days, and we can move through our days with intention and realizing that we can still have permission to live our best lives. Can you imagine that you still have a permission to live your best life? Do not be crippled by this pandemic. Do not be crippled by the news. Do not be crippled by poor relationships. Do not be crippled by what other people are thinking, limited mindsets. Do not be crippled by what other people are translating this season to be. Instead, be empowered by your vision. Have your own personal big strategy, big picture that you're pursuing. In fact, I'll share with you. Yesterday, I had a beautiful call with a client. I've just finished working on a project with her. And imagine when we started working with her, she was really overwhelmed. She felt like she was losing control of her life. And so we partnered with her through the Feminine Leadership Coaching service, which I offer, to help her get control of her life, to be the leading lady of her life. And I tell you, it was just so overwhelming. Hearing her over the phone, she was celebrating, she was even with her mother, and she was telling me, literally, her life is barely recognizable because of the shift of mindset. And yes, the pandemic is happening, but the way she's thinking about herself, she has such a clear vision of where she'd like to be, that even this pandemic, she's leveraging it as an opportunity to push herself closer and further to her vision. Are you seeing how beautiful that is? That even though a global pandemic is around her and is challenging her at various scopes of her life, because she has that big picture, she is repurposing this pandemic, this season, as something that still pushes her forward. Are you seeing how amazing that is? That is the beauty about having your own personal vision. It is no one else's business. It is your business. It is the thing that's keeping you waking up, dressing up, and showing up. Yes, even through a global pandemic. So that is the beauty of having a personal vision. And realize this, I have never heard of very successful and wealthy people who've never had a vision for themselves. Vision follows those who actually build it. Vision follows those who even commit it down on paper. And I hope that you have a pen and paper nearby, because I hope that you're going to be writing down some of these things. Anytime I have seen anyone who is successful or listened or watched the lives, closely monitor the lives of very successful people, very wealthy people, very influential people, people who've left a very beautiful and strong lasting legacy, they always had a vision for themselves. And they pursued this vision, and the vision outlasted them, meaning it ended up becoming a gift that then served more people, the people they left behind. So realize this, a vision is your personal compass. It's a personal compass that allows you to know whether you're moving forward, whether you're living authentically. So it needs to make sense to you first, not to other people, not to maybe your spiritual leader, not to your family members, not to your employees, not to your partners. It needs to make sense to you first. Because guess what? To your employee, to your family members, maybe all they need to know is that you're building a wall. To some people, they may only need to know that you're building a brick. And that's okay. But to you, it needs to be so clear, to a point when tragedy hits, you still are able to wake up, dress up, and show up, because you know what you desire for your life. Your life. Your creator has given you a purpose, but guess what? This is what you desire for your own life. This is the experience of life you desire. And you need to be so clear to a point where you can smell it, you can taste it, you can feel it, you have a texture to it, to a point where you're like, that life is so delicious that I already know its taste, right? And you pursue it with your all, because you know it is so worth it. Which brings me to the next one. Be very careful about what you say about yourself, because whatever is spoken becomes. Whatever you say about yourself and your vision, it either makes it or breaks it. It's a vision for a reason. And the reason why it's a vision is because you're envisioning yourself in the future. You're envisioning yourself in the future. You're envisioning yourself in an evidence of hope, in a future that is to come. So imagine, what are you speaking about yourself? What are you saying about yourself? Anything that you attach to the word I am becomes. The word I am. What are you currently saying about yourself? What I am statements are you saying about yourself? I am this. I am this. What have you recently been saying that? Because guess what? Everything that you attach to the word I am becomes. Right? So be very careful about that, because you want to speak life to your vision. Words locate us, and words are prayers. So what have you been praying upon yourself lately? What have you been saying about yourself? Have you been compassionate, or have you been very judgmental? Have you been abundant towards yourself, or have you been very limited? Have you been loving towards yourself, or have you been very vengeful? Right? Have you been speaking life and being generous with yourself by saying you're going to make it, you're going to be wealthy, you're going to be successful, you're going to access love, the best that this life has got to offer? Or have you been only saying limited stuff? Because guess what? You can only give what you have within yourself. You'll realize that the people who are unhappy with their lives are unhappy with themselves. The people who are mean towards other people are normally mean towards themselves. People who are judgmental towards others are normally judgmental towards themselves. People who have no good perceptions about other people have bad perceptions about themselves. People who don't know where they stand in other people's lives, they don't know where they stand in their own lives. So remember, you can only give that which you have within yourself. It's an overflow. And during such trying times like a pandemic, whatever you have with abundance within yourself, it overflows and it pours out. And it pours out into the people around you. So realize, if you're not working on yourself, you'll end up demanding from other people what you're not even giving yourself. Can you imagine that? Have you Have you been pursuing your own dreams? Or are you expecting to live your dreams through other people? That can never happen. People have their own dreams to live, right? Have you been working on your own financial goals and your own financial wealth, right? Or are you expecting other people to build your financial wealth? Have you been sharing kind words towards yourself? Have you been praying for yourself? Or are you expecting other people to pray for yourself? Realize that is a very, Martin Luther King said this thing where he says, it's anemic. That is anemic. You need to be so abundant with that which you need that it overflows into the lives of others, right? You can't demand something from people when you don't have it in abundance within yourself. You get what I mean? You can only speak from a culture that you understand. So if within yourself you have a culture of love, you can then expect a culture of love from other people because you get it, right? So that's another thing I'd like to challenge you with. Remember, it's called a vision for a reason because 95% of your mind, which is the subconscious mind, actually controls your life. That is what runs your life. So that's why I'm saying, please be careful about the things that you're depositing into your mind. What kind of media are you consuming? What kind of books are you reading? What kind of people are you surrounding yourself with? What kind of words are you saying about yourself? What I am statements are you saying, right? How have you been running your life? Each one of us has 24 hours, right? How much of those 24 hours is invested in the things that truly matter to you, that truly bring fulfillment to you, that truly help you lay those bricks towards your delicious life in the future? How much of your 24 hours really goes to building your dreams? How much of those 24 hours really goes to you? Ask yourself that. Or does your 24 hours go into other things? Does it go into your boss? Does it go to your spouse? Does it go to your children? Does it go to your spiritual community? Does it go to others other than yourself? Does it really go to you? How much of your time are you investing in you? Because guess what? Your vision is your responsibility. Remember that. So you need to see your vision before it even happens. You need to create also a visual stimulation for the kind of future that you desire, the kind of vision that you have, right? This is why at the beginning of the year, you had many people talk about vision boards. There are also people who put fridge magnets that sort of remind them of what the vision is. For example, if you dream to go on a holiday, if you have a vision of going on a holiday, your favorite dream holiday, I don't know, maybe to somewhere like Hawaii, maybe you have a fridge magnet of Hawaii, so that every time you go to the fridge, it reminds you that, hey, Hawaii is open to you, work on it, build on it, right? Something that visually stimulates you to remind you that your dreams are still worthy, that they are alive, that they are living, breathing organisms, that you need to keep working on, laying those bricks to ensure that it comes to pass, right? Also, there are people who, there are certain, when you go on the internet, there are certain ways in which you can set up an email. I don't know what they are called, but there are certain email alert systems where you can send a future email to yourself. Like imagine every single month you can send an email to yourself. So they're like these automated like email apps and email systems where you can send an email to yourself to remind yourself that to work on something to help you lay that brick to build that vision in the future. There are also people who do meditations. I personally meditate a lot. I even close my eyes. I make sure that I take a reflection hour. Sometimes I take a walk, and sometimes I also just close my eyes late in the night because that's my creative time. When everyone else is asleep, I just sit down, I reflect, and I go deep. I start imagining, what does my future vision look like? Where am I? What am I sensing? Who's there with me? What am I doing? Which location is this in this world? What time is it? How do I feel? How do I feel about my body? How do I feel about my mind? I really go deep into it. And sometimes it's reached a point where the more and more I go into that place, the more and more it becomes very descriptive. Because the mind is a muscle. And the more and more you the more and more you work on it, the more and more you actually flex it and you put it to work, the more and more it remembers, the more and more it starts bringing out beautiful things that you never even knew, right? So you might remember that one time, you might reflect and you might think of something, you might see something, right? The next time you might feel something, the next time you might see another additional detail. So imagine, the more and more you do these meditations and reflections, the more and more your mind does the work and reveals to you what you actually desire. The texture, it gives you texture of what your vision is like, to a point where you can taste it, you can feel it, you can sense it, you can visualize it, and no one can bring it out of your life. No one can rattle it out, because it will become so specific and so delicious to you that even during such a pandemic, you're like, that is still accessible to me. As long as I'm living and breathing, that is still accessible to me. So we want you to get there. And also, there's also daily affirmations where you affirm things about yourself. Remember the I am statement, where you start reaffirming things about yourself that then help you lay those bricks to get to your vision. Why is this important? It's because when you choose to stand up for something big in your life, it's an open doorway for both opportunity and opposition. Your vision will then help you point to your north. Remember, your vision is your compass. It's your compass towards the quality of life you desire, the experience of life and the quality of life you desire to get out of this life, right? It is your unique, customized quality program for your life, that which you desire. There's an amazing visionary filmmaker, entrepreneur, and preacher called T.D. Jakes. And he wrote a book called Soar. And I would highly recommend it, especially for women, because even the language he uses that language specifically for women, because it came out to him that it is very important that women become visionaries, because towards history, vision has only been put in the hands of men. But for him, he is a father of daughters, and his daughter is an amazing entrepreneur. So for this particular book, he specifically targeted women, because he was like, he wants women to realize that they do not have to build their visions on the back of men. Women also have their own visions, and you have an opportunity to change your generational legacy, to change the legacy of your nation, to change the legacy of your life, to change the legacy of women and girls across the globe. So realize you have an equal opportunity, just like men, to build your own legacy. And he said something amazing about vision. He said that God, our creator, he is the God of trees. He is not a God of tables and chairs. And what does that mean? Your responsibility is to then use the resources that your creator has blessed you with, which is the tree, to build your own tables and chairs. To look at the tree and say, what do I want to build out of this tree? That, my friend, is your vision. Look at the purpose your creator has given you. Look at the passions. Look at the core values that you naturally have. Then leverage all of that and ask yourself, out of this purpose, what can I build for myself? I, for one, build LetS out of it. I realized my purpose of encouraging and rebuilding beauty, repurposing beauty for ashes, out of ashes, repurposing beautiful things out of ashes. I then built LetS out of it. But my creator was not going to do that for me. I needed to look at that which he had given me and repurpose it and build something out of it by saying, you know what? I want to build an amazing coaching social enterprise that serves progressive women across the globe, right? To change the world using their stories, right? Because stories, we can repurpose them. We can repurpose the ashes in our stories to build beautiful things. Guess what? Out of every pain that we go through, out of every adversity we go through, we have an equal or even greater opportunity to build something amazing out of it, right? So what is your tree? The tree in your life is your purpose, your passions, and your core values. So you need to look at these things and ask yourself, what can I build out of this? That is your vision. And what experience of life do I want out of this? That is your vision. And When purpose is revealed to you, vision is built by you. Not by your creator, by you. It's because you're collaborating with your creator. You're collaborating with your purpose, saying, yes, I see you, I acknowledge you, and so I'm going to build something great out of you. This is the deliberate quality of life and experience of life I want to have out of this purpose. And so remember, I Have a Dream by Martin Luther King. That he built for himself. And even though he did not live long enough to actually see it in realization, look, from across the world, we have black people, white people sitting at tables and discussing opportunities and seeing themselves from a place of opportunity and consciousness and their character, and not necessarily the color of their skin. It happened. So your vision is something that can outlast you, but also your vision can be something that you can live to actually see, right? So realize this. There are 12 steps. There are 12 areas of your life. And that's why I will encourage you, just like me, get an actual journal where you can write this down. Your vision is not something which just lives in your mind. You need to commit it in pen and paper. I have this. This is my vision book. And I am purposing to actually get down, repurpose this season to actually sit down and to leverage this opportunity to rethink my vision and to fine tune it and to even expand my vision into these 12 areas, which I'll now share with you. Your vision is, your life vision is a totality of these areas of your life. Just note them down. Number 1, health and fitness. Number 2, intellectual life. Number 3, emotional life. Number 4, your character. Number 5, your spiritual life. Number 6, your love and relationship life. Number 7, parenting life, for those of you who desire to parent. Then the next one, your social life. Then your financial life. And then your career life. You remember? Career life and financial life are just 2 of these things. 2 of these 12 things. Can you imagine? Yet many of us, we are pressured by society and other voices to literally build our lives around a career, or to build our lives around numbers, financial life. Yet there are only 2 things. Your life is holistic. It's not just this one thing. It's not a paycheck, right? And so that's why you'll realize if you build your life around a career, you'll realize that there are other areas like your social life, your parenting, your relationships that are suffering. You'll realize that even your health and fitness is suffering. So if you build your life around just one thing, the other areas of your life might end up suffering. But what you need to do is build a vision that speaks to all of these areas of your life in a way that it all balances out, right? You're not sacrificing one for the other. You're not just pursuing a financial goal at the cost of your family, at the cost of love, at the cost of your character, right? So just think about that. And then the second last one is your quality of life. Your quality of life is what you get when all of these are balanced. That is your quality of life. But guess what? The last one is then your life vision. The quality of your life, when you do it consistently, bring in amazing habits that you can then put into practice, and then amazing accountability, which we'll actually discuss later on in our last episode. Then that comes to your life vision. Your life vision is a totality of all of these areas of your life, where you can rate, how is my health and fitness? Is it a 2 or a 10? Where is my financial life? Where's my spiritual life? How do I feel about all of these areas of your life? It will then come to your quality of your life, which then with practice and with time, it will then amount to your life vision. That's what it is. The reason why I spent more time on this particular one, it even took me a while to record this. Realize it's because your vision is your responsibility. And if you don't take time to sit down and to create one for yourself, you will realize that you will end up maybe projecting onto other people these things. You get what I mean? Expectations. unmet expectations. For example, if you desire to build to be a parent, right? Or if you desire to build a quality spiritual life or health and fitness, if you do not know what health and fitness means to you, you cannot then demand that from maybe somebody else. You cannot feel bad when, let's say, a partner that you're with does not meet the same things, because you did not communicate that to them in the first place, right? So you need to be very clear about what you want, so that when you bring people into your life, you can literally audit them. Do they add to this or do they cripple it, right? Which takes me to the final step. The final step is the action points for this week. The action points for this week, there are 3 simple things I'd like you to do. Number 1, dream big. Please dream big, even if it scares you. Dream big. Just have a very big vision for yourself. A very big version of yourself. Don't think limitations. Don't even think about the pandemic. Think about 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, 100 years, right? From now, what quality of life, what experience of your life do you want? Would you like? Do not think about limitations. If money wasn't an issue, if there were no limitations, what experience of life would you like to have? The second one is, remember, whatever you attach to the word I am, it becomes. I'd like you to start writing new affirming I am statements towards your vision. Remember, this is the quality of life. This is the quality of an experience of life that you desire in those 12 areas that I've shared with you. Say, I am this. Are you wealthy? I am wealthy. I am healthy. I am fit. You know? I am spiritually aligned with my calling. I am worthy of love. I am worthy of lasting, beautiful, thriving, passionate relationships. Those are some of the I am statements you can share for yourself in each of these areas. You need to find out, what do you believe? What is your belief about this? Then say, I am this belief. Then the last one is, be so specific about your vision and create a visual stimulation out of it, a daily visual stimulation. I'd mentioned there's meditation, there's a vision board, there's that automated email, there's meditation, there's affirmations. Create something visual that you can interact with every day that reminds you of that vision. As another simple way in which I do this is, I have my screensaver on my laptop. I have a particular folder where I have taken just random photographs on the internet which visually represent these areas of my life. And so I put them on that folder, and I chose that folder to be my screensaver. So when my computer is just resting, or when I'm taking a break to think, or when I've gone to grab a cup of tea, sometimes I sit down and I look at and I look at the screensavers, one coming after the next. And in some way, it's like it's telling me, this is your vision, this is worthy. And that's when I can be like, oh, I am this, I am this. You get what I mean? So that's how it works. Let me know what you think about this. And please comment below and let me know what you are going to try out this week. That's all for today. You know, this is how you can create your life vision. It's very simple, but you need, the purpose of this is that your intentionality is then what makes it meaningful, right? That's all for today. We were covering how to create a vision for your life. This is part 5. So our last clarity coaching campaign video is going to be there next week. But for this week, let me know, what are you going to try out? Are you going to create a visual stimulation for yourself, or are you going to say an I am statement? Are you going to create new I am statements? Please comment below and let me know what you're going to try out, right? So this is Let's Stay Home Clarity Coaching Series with Ayuma Michelle, and today we've been covering how to create a vision for your life. This channel, Let's with Ayuma, it's all about empowering women, progressive women from across the globe to thrive with purpose. And I surely hope that you're feeling empowered to actually thrive with purpose. Stay strong, stay safe, and don't forget to like, comment, and to subscribe and share it with somebody in your life who you know really needs this video, right? I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.